Hey, all of you out there in internet land, this is Don White, and welcome to God's Money. This week on God's Money, we're going to look at something that, frankly, is my problem. This is my problem, folks. We're going to talk about what's going on in Don's life, and hopefully I've come up with some answers for me, and maybe they're going to help you as well. This week, I allowed myself to get caught up in what I call busyness. And I'm not talking about business, B-U-S-I-N-E-S-S. I'm talking about busyness, B-U-S-Y-N-E-S. Man, I am telling you, I have been swamped and it's been crazy. But one of the reasons that I've allowed myself to get into this thing is because I just did not commit myself properly. I didn't do the right kind of planning. And I sat down, I guess a couple of days ago, and I said, you know what? What's causing this in our lives? And I figured it out. In my particular case, as is probably the case with you, I've allowed myself to get overly committed, and I've allowed myself to get overly busy. And so I took a big, deep breath and said, wait a minute. I don't need to do this. And so I started to analyze the things that I've been doing, and I found myself wasting a tremendous amount of time, and that kept me from being able to do this commitment, which I am very, very, very upset about. But having said that, I'm going to give you today about 5, maybe even 6 things that I wrote down that I learned about what it means to be overly committed and overly busy. So how do you combat busyness? First and foremost, you got to reduce commitments. Man, we get overcommitted in this country and other places. We are so overcommitted in the first world. You know, people that are in the third world, they look at what we do and they go, what are you people? What are you, crazy? The fact is we overcommit ourselves. Don't allow yourself to get overcommitted. Be able to say no. That, to me, I'm going to tell you right now, is my greatest weakness. I have a hard time saying no. When people come up to me and they say, hey Don, could you do this for me? Or could you do that? Or could you meet me here? Could you do this? Could you call me? Oh yeah, I'll do that. Oh yeah, I'll do that. And I overcommit. Even though we may get overcommitted, we typically still try to get it all done. And when we try to get it all done, that's when we get all stressed out, and that's when things really start to get out of control. So first and foremost, reduce your commitments. So many of us allow what I would call diversions and distractions to really impact the way in which we do life. Don't allow it. Sit there and say, wait a minute, do I really need to be on the cell phone? Do I really need to be doing this other thing? Do I really need to be working out in this particular way? Do I have to work out? For example, I love working out, but do I need to work out for an hour and a half when maybe 30 minutes would probably be just fine? So start to think about the things which divert you and distract you from the things that you want to be doing, and get away from those things. And the only way that that can happen is by proper self-examination. Take a real hard look at yourself, and you'll figure out what things are distracting you and what things are diverting your attention away from the things that you should be paying attention to. Live and savor the present moment. So many of us focus on the past. I have to tell you, that's not a problem for me. I have learned a long time ago that every time I watch the History Channel, the Germans always lose. So here's the deal. I don't want to focus on the past, and I really don't struggle with that. Here's where I struggle. I struggle on focusing on the future, what's going to happen. You need to focus on where you are right now and get the best possible result from where you're working right now. Focus on the moment. Focus on the process of this moment. Don't focus on the result. Here's what I learned. Years and years and years ago when I played sports, I had a coach that came up to me and said, Don, you need to focus on process, focus on process. Now, I know hundreds of you have heard all this and so forth, but this is really something he ingrained on me. He said, look, if you can begin to narrow your focus, just focus on what you have to do. Don't worry about everybody else. Don't worry about all the other stuff. Don't get into those distractions. Just focus on what you need to do. And all these other things will take care of themselves. Do not get focused on whether we win or we lose or whether this play works or it doesn't work. focus on just what you have to do and what you're doing right now. When I started playing golf, that information helped me immensely, because what I learned when I play golf was I can only pay attention to this shot, one I'm hitting right now. I can't worry about the putt that I'm going to have or the drive that I just missed. I can only hit this shot. So focus on present, and I'm telling you, you'll start to lose a lot of this busyness, because one of the problems with busyness is we focus on a lot of other things other than what we should be doing, which is right now, in this moment, paying attention to this. Manage your time loosely. And the last thing I wrote down was budget your time in advance. And those two things really are not opposing one another. They're actually doing it really, they're together. When I say budget your time loosely, what I mean is allow yourself enough extra time so that if something does come up, you can fit it in. I think the greatest thing that I have is my diary, my appointment book. But by the same token, it can also be my greatest distraction. So here's the deal. If you budget your time and you manage your time together, if you take those two things and work them together, make sure you do it with a little bit of looseness, but with a structure that says, you know what, I've got an appointment at 1 o'clock. I can't do anything else at 1 o'clock. I've got an appointment at 4 o'clock. Now, it may not be a face-to-face appointment with a person, for business or whatever. You've got an appointment. Maybe it's an appointment with your kids to go to their volleyball game. Maybe it's an appointment to meet with your wife and just to sit down and talk about the world that we're in. We are too busy. Years ago, there was a great song by Alabama that says, I'm in a hurry to get things done. I rush and rush until life's no fun. All we really got to do is live and die, but I'm in a hurry and I don't know why. And those words were applicable in 1992, just as applicable today in 2017. Don't be in a hurry. I hope you have a great week. Don't be too busy this week. Get over it. Easter's coming. Got some great things. I love you. We'll talk to you next time on God's Money.